Hey everyone, welcome back to the studio. This is your host, SB Philos4. This is your weekly Bang Dream podcast, giving you the best up-to-date information of upcoming news and updates to the game and franchise, as well as give you insight from the community members, sharing their experiences and stories about the game. As always, check out our website, links in the description below on how you can support the podcast either by joining the YouTube membership program below or by subscribing to my Twitch channel. Of course, all Filler Nation members can join the Young Academy Discord, where you could hear these podcasts live and interact with our special guests, and anyone can do so if you want to join a community to have a great fun time. But this weekly news corner is actually going to be a little bit shorter, I think, because there's not as many topics to talk about. At the time of this recording, there's actually no new information on upcoming events for both JPdori and ENdori. So there's going to be some other parts about the franchise that we'll be talking about, and maybe trying to hear some of your thoughts and opinions. So let's just jump right into the weekly news corner. All right. So JPdori, at the time of this recording, the Pastel Palettes Medley Live event is just about wrapping up and probably will have wrapped up by the time you're listening to this podcast. So that's why, again, I don't have any news on what event is upcoming. Now, I'm going to try and predict the future and see if I'm right or wrong. But most likely, I believe, as I mentioned in many episodes, it's going to be a full Roselia event next. It's been a while since we had a full Roselia event. The last time we've had it is Bandori 3, Spector, and that was quite a few months ago. So I'm guessing it's going to be a full Roselia event. Now, exactly the theme and stuff, I don't know. But that's what I'm guessing. Of course, I could be right or wrong. Let's see what happens in a few days from now. There's also hints that there's going to be a full Poppin' Party band event very soon. The hint that I have is actually the fact that the 17th single of Poppin' Party, Poppin' Dream, is going to be released on January 5th of 2022. The set list for this CD, the single, is Poppin' Dream. There's also Hoshi no Yakusoku and an unknown song. And usually these unknown songs, when they reveal that, it's going to be a new song that's upcoming that we don't know. And of course, if there's a new song coming out, it's most likely to be added to the game as well. So definitely look forward to that. So that could be something that we'll look at in the future. So again, it's a 2-month gap. There's plenty of time for them to actually just put a Poppin' Party full band event anyway, because they at that point they will be overdue. But yeah, that's gonna be something that you could look forward to as well. So, we'll see how things go with JPdori events. And speaking of singles and, music in general, the cover collection, Volume 6, featuring 21 cover songs, 3 from each band, is going to be out this week as well. I'm actually going to be listening to them live on my Twitch channel sometime this week. So definitely follow this channel or join the Discord. I'll be sharing news on when I'll be listening to this song, so you can also hop on in and give a listen as well and see what you think about these songs as well. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be really, really cool. Lastly, in terms of music-related news, there's actually quite a few interesting music-related news. There's going to be a online live stream event that's called Kasumi and Tae's Stay After School Tour. So this is actually a online concert, like a mini concert that they're hosting, that's going to feature acoustic versions of various Poppin' Party songs featuring Kasumi and Tae's voice actresses, Aimin and Otsuka. It's going to be really interesting because I'm going to say this from experience. I've listened to both Otsuka and Aimin's acoustic lives before, in person, live, about 2 years ago. It was an amazing experience, and honestly, I'm probably going to buy these acoustic live performances as well for me to listen. It's happening on November 17th at 6:30 JST, Japan Standard Time. So you could probably do a little bit of finicking around in your time zones, and the archive's going to be there for about 3 days. There's links in the in-game notification notice board of where you could get these tickets. So I might link them in the description as well if you want to check it out. So that's going to be cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that. And it's also available for a worldwide audience. So that's really neat. The fact that it's going to be like having like English subs and such. So it's really cool. And speaking of, getting access to, as an international player, getting access to various things that's happening in JP right now in Japan. There's also going to be the HoloLive collab merch that's still available right now. So I think there's like some interesting things that are happening in the online Bushiroad EN store. I'm not being sponsored by EN Bushiroad at any point, but there's some interesting goods about the HoloLive and some other unique deals that are happening right now. So you could certainly check it out if you want to. So let's switch gears, talk briefly about ENdori. At the time of this recording, Prismatic Duel will most likely be done. This 8-day event, Christmas in November. Again, that's just scheduling. That's how it is, right? There's no news about Bandori 3 at all. There's no news about the 4.10 update at the time of this recording. So once again, this will mean that Title Idol will be skipped, the Bandori 3 for Pastel Palettes. There's also no promotional material at all for Bandori 3s. So yeah, there's no way that Title Idol is going to be the next event. For those looking forward to it, that's just how it is, right? ENdori, EN Bushiroad are working what they can on this issue. It's unfortunate. I've talked about my complaints about it for the longest time. I'm not going to repeat myself because, I don't want to say the same thing over and over again. Let's talk about what could be happening in the future. So again, I'm no psychic, but if things kind of go as planned, the next event should be Red Ignition, which is a full Afterglow Challenge Live. And this is going to be the first full Afterglow event in a very long time because, of course, one of us was skipped. So Afterglow fans finally will get some content, hopefully, if that Red Ignition doesn't get skipped. And yeah, it's going to be probably the next event, probably a 6-day event or maybe a 5-day event. We'll see how things go. One thing I do actually want to briefly discuss with you all and just kind of remind some individuals who are tiering is that after Red Ignition should be the New Year's event, of course. New Year's in November, ha ha ha, funny. But on a serious note, this Yukina Arisa New Year's event actually introduces a new concept that happened in JPdori, which I would believe would be implemented into ENdori as well, and that is new titles. So there's going to be new thresholds for obtaining titles, and most notably, there's going to be a new T50 title, a new T300 title, and a new T500 title. So adding these new thresholds are really interesting because now there's going to be a bigger distinction and possibly more competition within the thresholds. Now, there could be the argument that, okay, well, the international worldwide fan base may not be big enough to merit these titles, right? Like, would it really be necessarily needed to get these titles? But at the same time, right, if there's already going to be coded into the game, you might as well put it in, right? You might have to put more effort just to code them out. And EN Bushiroad has shown in the past that they're pretty willing to, to add titles, new thresholds pretty readily, and they're pretty good at that. An example is when they introduced the T 2.5K threshold, the top 2,500 threshold. They actually introduced it earlier than when JPdori had it. So if memory serves right. So they're not afraid to add some assets or add an extra title for that. It should be pretty easy to do. And yeah, they were able to actually have events that didn't have top 2,500 in JPdori into ENdori. So that's pretty cool. This leads to a new discussion that, okay, well, if things go as expected, right? Red Ignition comes next, and then it's probably the Happy New Year's event. Would that mean that events that get added later, like One of Us and Title Idol, and hopefully the Hell Happy World collab as well, will those have T50s and T300s and T500s? That could be a really interesting prospect. Having a T50 in One of Us or Title Idol is not something that JPdori people could flex on. They actually just physically don't have it. So maybe grasping straws on some positive stuff here, which, it's not, again, all this ENdori Bushiroad business there's not a lot of positives here, but, having a possibility to flex a T50 title or a T300 title in a Bandori 3 event where I initially did not have that asset in the original version or original server, it could be a small positive there. And again, as I mentioned before, EN Bushiroad is not afraid to add new titles to events that necessarily didn't have it previously in JPdori. So yeah, this could be something that you could all look forward to because yeah, it's going to be really possibly interesting to be able to say I have a T50 in one of us after 3 months of delay, for instance. So maybe it might be worth it, but I don't know, guys. What do you think in the comments below? What do you think about this new possible introduction to new titles into the game? Possibly T50, T300, or T500. With that new news, will that affect your tiering sort of plans? And maybe this could be something that you could look forward to in the future when these inevitable Bandori 3 events get implemented. Maybe this could be something new that you look forward to. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about these titles. And also, again, this could change tiering servers as well. I'm not sure how much it will affect, and I mean, it could get really messy if you try to put too many roles, like a T50 role versus T100 role versus T300 role. It could get quite messy, but I don't know. Maybe for those in the tiering community and hosting tiering servers, will this affect how you're going to implement roles as well? Let me know. But yeah, that's all the discussion I have in terms of the talking points of what's going on. And again, later, probably in the next podcast, we'll be talking about the new events that are in the game right now. And they're probably wrapping up as well. So it's going to be, weird timing, but that's how it is. Let's hop on to the other side of the studio. We have two special guests waiting, and I look forward to having a great conversation with them. Want to support the RePHIL studio? Check out our website. Links in the description below. Here you can learn more about the podcast as a whole, as well as complete our feedback form to give comments about how we can improve the project, as well as suggest any future special guests that you would like to see on the studio. You can also learn more about how you could support the podcast by joining the Filler Nation, either through a Twitch subscription. Thanks again to the Filler Nation members for your constant support, and a reminder that all Filler Nation members can access the podcast live when they are recording in the Unga Academy Discord server. We hope to see you there. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the studio. And let's refill to 99 as we usually do for the set because we have our lovely two special guests today. We have Noodle as well as Evets, aka Steve, joining us for the studio. For both of you, again, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for inviting us.
All right. Well, let's go right into intros. Noodle, why don't you start? Maybe introduce yourself to our viewers who may not be familiar about you, and maybe some achievements as well that you've done.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Noodle. I've been playing Bang Dream for about 2 years now. It's pretty fun. Mostly a casual player, but I've tiered a couple of events. I did top 10 on the ReZero collaboration last year, and then I got my first podium earlier this year with the Nanamihina event, Perfect Collection, and that's about it.
Great. And Steve, what about you?
Yep, I'm Evets. I downloaded Bang Dream like around 2 years ago, May 19, 2019 to be exact. I also moderate the official Bang Dream Girls Band Party Discord server. And in terms of tiering, I haven't really done an awful lot. I've done like, I think I'm at 9 T100s, and 7 of those are Pop Party events, but that's about it.
All right. Well, again, welcome to both of you. As we usually do, maybe let's briefly talk about how you guys got into Bang Dream. Both of you seem to get in, like, not exactly at the start, but 2 years ago is still quite some time into the game. Evets, why don't we start with you? How did you get into Bang Dream? What convinced you on May 2019 to go to the App Store and download this game called Bang Dream Girls Band Party?
Honestly, I downloaded it as a joke. I saw my cousin was my cousin was playing the game earlier, like around that time, and I was like, oh, that looks funny. And then I downloaded it like a week or so later. I was a super casual player like for a bit, as in I didn't even get top 10,000 title on it. But yeah, as the months went by, I was like, this game's pretty fun. And then that at that same time, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stay free to play. That lasted like 6 months before it broke. But yeah,
Oh, well,
I downloaded it as a meme, and now here I am 2 years later.
well, sometimes it be like that. The gacha gods kind of get you at that. But what about you, Noodle? How did you get into the game?
It's kind of a funny story. Not many people know about it, but
Mhm.
Evets actually got me into the game. We've been friends for like 7 years, way before Bang Dream. So
Mhm.
it was really funny because he knew I played other rhythm games before Bang Dream. So one day he just kind of pinged me in a different server. He's like, "Hey, do you want to play this game with me?" And this was during Bandori 2 Hello Happy Kimiga.
Mhm.
So I downloaded the game, started playing it. It was pretty fun. Uh, I had no idea what was going on. I couldn't even name a character's name for probably like a month. We just kind of like log on once a night and play 10 games and then hop off. But eventually I kind of came around, started playing it more, getting to know the characters. And I still tell Steve to this day, I hate you for this. You made me spend so much money.
And
Wow.
you're
Wow.
welcome. You're welcome.
Crazy, crazy. It's funny that the sequence of events, it actually all made sense, right? The cousin started, and then Evets got in, then convinced Noodle, so you all way influenced each other eventually, and now we're all in this lovely game.
In
Playing
that same
rhythm game.
server, I convinced way too many people to
Oh,
download the game.
Yeah,
yikes.
there's a whole cycle of people.
Shout outs to the cousin then for what randomly showing Evets this game, and there we go. What a snowball effect.
The funny thing is, she doesn't even play it anymore.
Well, that's the same thing with someone else. I think it was one of our guests as well. I think it was Riley. I think his sibling also introduced him to the game. I don't think they play anymore, but he certainly still does. So, it's pretty funny. It's pretty interesting. Um, Now, Noodle, of course, you mentioned that you couldn't name characters for a long time, but can you name at least a favorite character of yours right now?
Oh, of course I can. I love Nanami Hiromachi. Such a good character.
And enlighten us why she's best girl.
Oh, because she's vibing.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Steve?
I think Kasumi is one of my favorites. I don't know, just a hunch,
Just
honestly.
a hunch, just a little bit, just a little
Just
hunch,
a
especially with
small
your
hunch.
7 titles of Poppin' Party.
Yeah, it's just coincidence, honestly.
Just a coincidence. Any other sentiments about Kasumi?
She's great. As someone who actually reads the stories, man, getting to see Kasumi grow throughout the years, it was great.
Nice, nice. Well, why don't we kind of talk a little bit more about the community as a whole? Because I know, Steve, you mentioned that you are a Pubcord mod, and now you are running pretty much the biggest Bang Dream Discord server with a bunch of other moderators. So, how did you stumble into the community and stumble into this Discord server, and eventually became a mod? What was that story like?
Okay. It's well, okay. Like around month 2 or 3, I'd like to say, about getting into the game. I found the official bank. Well, the what used to be it used to be a fan Discord server, but I
Mhm.
found that server from Reddit. I
Oh.
looked at the Bang Dream Reddit, and then the link to the server was there. I clicked it. I didn't talk in there for like 2 months, and before asking my first question. And then from there, I just kind of like started getting to know people, started getting used to the community more, talking more regularly and using GBPEN. And one like I think a year or so, a year, not a year and a half later, the mod applications were up. I was like, you know what? It's been a while. Sure, I'll go for it. Totally expecting not to get in, and then I got in. So I'm like, all right, guess I'm doing this now. And now we're here.
Nice, nice, nice. And being a mod of Pubcord, I imagine it is definitely an adventure. How have you seen the Pubcord grow for the past while? Right, like again, when you first joined back when it was still a fan community Discord, and kind of shifting to being such a big server right now with official status and being moderator status. How did you see that progression?
Ooh, okay. Well, I was I was an active member while it was still a fan Discord.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it didn't go. Wait, yeah, it went official, and then like a few months later, that's when I became staff. So I wasn't. I was there when the entire chat was just blowing up, and oh god, the general channel was so bad.
Oh,
The
But
voice calls.
don't don't get me started. The freaking what was it? 30, 40 people in the voice chat day one.
Yeah.
I went in there. It was something. But honestly, I like how it's official now. The community has definitely changed over time, for better or for worse. That's up to you guys. That's up to you to interpret as. But I personally think it's. Hey, I welcome new members to the community at any time, as long as they're nice.
Yeah, for sure. And again, joining Pubcord for the viewers who are for some reason not in Pubcord, it's never too late to do so. There's always resources out there to help you get access and join the community. So Mod has already said gave the thumb of approval. So yeah. Noodle, was your experience joining the community similar in terms of first getting into the game and then getting into the community?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say it's pretty similar. Evets invited me into the Discord. I think I probably joined the Discord around second anniversary. That's kind of when I started like playing the game more seriously, I guess you could say. Was right around second anniversary. So I joined then, and I've been pretty active throughout that entire time too. I think the community's definitely changed, but I think that's more just because as people come and go, and as new people join and old people leave, it's just gonna kind of naturally shift. But I think Pubcord is still in a pretty good spot today.
No, that's good. That's good. Any other like maybe events that either of you two recall that are pretty memorable in Pubcord and your times there? Could be again for better or for worse.
I mean, I remember my first time ever tiering was actually with Pubcord. It was for
Okay.
top 100 on the Smile Patrol reporting for duty event. That was in like I think it was May of 2020. I want to say May of 2020 probably. And it was the Happy Hello Happy World event. And the title looks so cool and I was like, "Yo, I really want this title." So I had never tiered before, so I didn't really know what to expect. So that was where I got into Pubcord and I started messing around with like the multi-live rooms. And that's where I first kind of made friends in the community, I guess you could say. Because before that, I would like occasionally talk, but actually like tiering with some of the people, I found it to be a really nice experience. And I got to meet some people that I'm still friends with to this day who are also massive whales now.
Perhaps maybe even more whale than you, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting getting into the tiering community, and I think that's a really interesting perspective because obviously Pubcord is a very big community, and sometimes it's very big. You get to meet a lot of interesting people and a lot of cool people there, but that meaningful connection is sometimes may not necessarily be there if you're like just kind of hanging around or just talking once in a while. But joining a tiering community, for instance, joining a tiering server is a little bit more intimate in terms of play Unite from A to Z over and over again, and being on voice chat and stuff with a smaller group of people, and that perspective is definitely quite interesting to be able to build friends with the community that way. So I imagine that's sort of how you kind of stumbled into doing more tiering servers and then eventually tiering yourself for titles, right?
Yeah, that's correct. My first tiering server was on the last day of Smile Patrol, I wanted to park my score and I didn't know how. And so somebody sent me an invite to the tiering server for the event. I think it was WSC, and the people in there were really helpful, and they helped me park. And that was my first time actually seeing what a tiering server looked like.
Yeah, yeah. So then you kind of, and again, it's kind of like the first step. Once you kind of get the first step in, then joining other servers and joining other, and getting to know other people and trying to see what kind of goals they want. It really helps, and it really shows, how you're able to build those connections and continue that spiral of branching out connections and helping people tier and possibly get influenced to tier yourself. So. Evets, I don't know. Again, like, when did you start thinking about tiering? Because although you don't tier like maybe like too aggressively, 9 top 100 titles is still pretty good. So what kind of influence and started you to tier in your perspective?
Well, okay, so as my time with the game kept with my time in the game, I kept growing closer and closer to Pop Party as a whole. I mean, my first T1K title was a Pop Party event before the start of a new season. And yeah, from there I was like, I love this group. I want to T100 every single all of their events. And starting with a Wholehearted Song for me, the very first mission live, that's when I started actually committing to that claim. I believe for that one, it was, I think, almost entirely pub rooms for that, because I still wasn't that big into the community yet. But I think in the last day, I started using the Pubcord rooms, and with the Message for You event, which is the next Pop Party event in line, that's when I first joined a tiering server and wanted to aim for a high position there. Funny story about that. I when I asked for the invite to the link, I was looking for a T10, but I was like really inexperienced. So I messaged the guy who owned the server, and I was like, "Hey, hey, can I have a T10 spot? I have 10,000 stars." And the dude was like, just like, I could tell he was completely baffled at what I said. And then he let me know that 10,000 stars is not enough. I'm like, okay, fair enough. I'll settle for T100 then. And yeah,
That's fair. Yeah,
and
that's actually hilarious.
That's the first time you're hearing that, Noodle?
Story before. You talked. That was IPN, right?
Yeah, it was IPN. Yeah. It's like IPN. Probably like, who the hell is this guy?
IPN is IPN. If you're listening to this, IPN is definitely like the tough love kind of person. Like, you'll definitely know, like, flat out, like, yeah, that's not enough. Like, good try, right? But he's definitely gonna let you know for sure that if it's realistic or not. But that's really funny. Again, for us, like, experienced tiers, like, hearing that kind of story is pretty interesting and funny, because we know that tiering does require a lot of preparation and a lot of time commitment, and for a newer tier, could be a very common mistake that maybe 10k stars is enough for a T10, where in many cases it really isn't. But certainly your preparations there were able to settle for a pretty good top 100, right?
I was able to get into a very comfortable 99th place in that event.
So T10 became 99.
Hey, it's still T100. Yeah. Actually, I was like panicking in Pubcord about it. Like, I'm playing. Why am I not going up? I was like 100 for like an hour. I kept playing, and then it took like, what was it? The last 15 minutes for me to actually use the tiering server and go into a room and play like 4 A to Z's, and then after that, 99th place.
Yep. So, again, the experience of tiering, especially for those who are newer, is it can be a little bit different, or a little bit difficult at first, but again, with a bit of experience and getting the support needed from people who are knowledgeable in the process, and certainly there's a lot of people in the community who are knowledgeable, you're able to get that hopefully get the title that you wanted and not experience the boat. Do the two of you have like advice? Like, let's say you're newer tier, right? You if you wanted to give advice to say Evets of 2020, before you asked IPN about whether or not 10K stars was enough for T10. What other advice you would give to that person and tiering and such if they want to, let's say, go for top 1000 or top 100? It's like the first time.
Funny you say that, Phil, because I actually wrote up a entire beginner's guide to tiering
Oh,
document, and
oh,
that's it's inside of a Pubcord.
okay.
There's it's like a few page document that goes over the basics of tiering, including some of the terminology. And I think the main thing that I would say is that if you're going for top 1000 or top 100, don't be afraid to try. As long as you have enough resources, like 5,000 stars should be enough for a top 100 in most cases. Your team doesn't really matter. I feel like that's the biggest misconception about tiering is that you need like a really good team to tier, but you don't as long as you have like the attributes on your cards and you have the event bonus. It doesn't really matter if they're 4 star or if they're 3 star, you know?
Yeah. Also, time for sure, right? You will still have to put a bit of a time commitment, but as long as you're willing to put that time, and at the end of the day, you just have to play more, right? Play more than at least 100 people, and or
Just play
to get
more.
yeah, just play more and get that one top 100, right? So
Hmm.
it's interesting. And yeah, I'll link the beginner's guide. So if anyone's listening to this podcast and wants to learn a bit more, I'll link it in the description of this video as well. Um, Maybe we'll talk actually a little bit briefly about these experiences as well. So maybe Noodle, if you want to briefly talk about, I don't know, either your T10 experience in ReZero or your podium in Perfect Collection. Maybe recall some interesting memories of getting those titles and maybe
Yeah.
why you decided to choose the tier for these events.
Yeah, all right. So I'm gonna talk about my T10 ReZero title because I think that one's got like a funny story associated with it.
Okay.
So I think as Evets could attest, I first started playing the game right around when the ReZero collaboration was announced on JP. And
Hmm.
That is correct.
I was like, yo, ReZero is my favorite show of all time. I want to top 1000 that event when it comes to the EN server. I was like super excited. I'm like, no way, I'm gonna actually try tiering. It's gonna be huge. And then pretty much all through 2020 for like the 4 or 5 months I was playing leading up to it,
Hmm.
I kept bringing it up in Pubcord. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to top 1000. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to top 100 this event. And then the only reason I was able to go top 10 in the first place is because I was in one of the tiering servers for the event,
Hmm.
and one of the other runners had to drop like last minute, and I was planning to just burn all of my stars to go up as high as I could anyways, regardless of
Hmm.
where I ended up. And so the guy who ran the server offered me a spot on the top 10 roster, and I was like, yeah, sure, without having any idea of like what I was getting myself into.
Oh no.
So once I got on the roster, it was pretty exciting. I was like, oh, I guess I'm actually gonna like do this now. So I didn't know how long I was gonna have to play for, really. I just decided I'm gonna play as long as I can without stopping, which ended up being, I think it was 32 hours before I was like, I can't play anymore. I need to go to sleep.
Hmm.
After that, it was just sort of like playing between 14 and 18 hours a day and then just sleeping the rest because I was tired. And I had to take an entire day off during the event because I had an exam.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Crazy, crazy. And that's like without preparation. So suddenly putting yourself to be like, well, I guess I have to play 14 to 18 hours per day to get T10. I don't think that was easy.
No, but I think I was very lucky. The stars kind of aligned because it's scheduled up with Thanksgiving here in the States. So I had
Mm.
a 5-day break from my university classes, so I was able to
Okay.
devote most of my time to tiering. But I didn't tell my parents what I was doing, so I remember very clearly. It was like 30 hours into my tiering experience or something. I had been up for like 45 or something at the
Oh
time
no.
because I was up all day before because I didn't think I'd be tiering.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Hey, can you go pick up dinner for us?"
Oh
And
no.
I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I had to go drive and grab food for my family, and that was terrifying.
Oh
But
no.
it all worked out in the end, and then I ate dinner and went to bed.
Oh man, that's a little bit scary situation there. You know, to completely sleep deprived, be like, let's go on the road there.
Not ideal.
Yeah,
Not
just
ideal.
slightly not ideal for sure, but yeah. Well, again, big congrats on that T10. I know, like, I somehow generally for whatever reason end up inviting a lot of people in the podcast that ended up tiering that event. But you know, you're now one of them as well, of course, and big congrats on that. And of course, of the perfect collection podium as well. You know, I'm sure that was like a pretty good warm up session for that, and you know, be able to get that
Uh,
title as well.
it's kind of funny. My perfect collection podium was actually like the exact opposite. It was super relaxed.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was the week. It was the week after I had gotten off of school, and it
Mm-hmm.
was a very not woke event. So I just
Mm-hmm.
played like 30 hours, and then I played like 24 hours twice, and I was parked. And then I didn't play for the last 3 days of the event.
Yeah, some events are like that when if there's just not a lot of competition and you know it happens where they're a lot more chill events, which is perfectly fine, right? I don't think anyone's gonna
Yeah, I'm
complain.
not complaining about it.
Less time playing A to Z and spending money, I think that's great.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, Steve, what about you? I know you again have a lot of top 100s. I'm not sure if there's a particular one you wanted to share, but personally, I'm kind of intrigued about your T100 in the very first Morphonica event. I don't know if you want to share what kind of happened there and how did you prepare for that.
Morphonica. All right. Leading up to that event, like that was like I had no idea what Morphonica. Well, I knew what Morphonica was because JP, but
Mm-hmm.
I did not know any of the characters. I was like I could not I was like having trouble naming them all. Just like the other. This is like the main 25 back when I joined. And then when Morphonica released like in mid-March, like 2 weeks before the event, I was like, I love all of these people. I love them all, and then especially a certain white-haired vocalist. And I was like, yeah, I'm T100 in this event, this first Morphonica event. And I was only getting T100 the first one, but
Mm-hmm.
I knew that going in. But so I wanted to just go all in on that event. Uh, I know. Okay, I joined a tiering server for that. I didn't really use it. Please don't follow my example. If you join a tiering server, use the tiering server. I was pubbing for it pretty much the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Just a very similar experience to my first T100 experience. But yeah, Blossoming Symphony, a 9-day Morphonica event. Uh, I just kept pushing and pushing. On the very last day, I was like, I think 120th,
Mm-hmm.
130th, around that position. So I knew I was in for the long haul at
Oh
the end of the
no.
day. So I believe I kept playing like for the last 4 or 5 hours. I just played nonstop, and I kept just pushing and pushing. When the event ended, I had no idea what position I was in
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think I looked at that. I don't think I looked at the leaderboard at all
Mm-hmm.
during my sprint at the end. But oh boy, when the results came out, I didn't even check my phone initially. I got a ping in Pubcord that saw my name, my score, number 100 exactly on the dot. I was like, oh okay, oh my gosh, and well, yeah, I got exactly 100th place in that event. I think that's as close as you can cut it with these top 100s. I usually cut it really close with top 100s, as you can tell, as you've probably seen in my
Just,
99 place.
just a little
How
close.
how many of your T100s are within the last 10 places?
I think 5 of them.
Very star efficient. You don't want to spend more than you have
And the
to.
other 4 are in the 80s, so not that far off.
Basically, the minimum achieving of top 100s there.
hey, gotta save all the stars you can.
Did you?
It's the same title, so.
Yeah. Were you ever voted with this strategy before?
Top 1000? Yes. Top 100?
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, did you gacha for this event prior to the Morphonica? Because of course there was no Morphonica cards. Everyone wouldn't have any because it's the first one. But did you like gacha for it to hopefully
I
improve
believe
your score? Or
if I had to guess, I'm not entirely sure, but I think I pulled once and I got the 3-star Ruri, so that helped out a little bit.
Okay, for sure. Well, again, that's a playing by the edge is always quite maybe thrilling in the wrong ways, but again,
I do not recommend it.
maybe don't follow Evets' example of
Please don't.
trying to go to a tier. But you did mention that you should join a tiering server for tiering, which I think is certainly doable as well. You don't necessarily have to. We've definitely seen pubs before doing working together to get top 100. It's of course a little less efficient, but it's definitely doable. Even pubs in the past have done T10s, but they put a lot of time and energy to it, and perhaps funds as well, which of course not everyone has. But it's a really interesting philosophy of how you approach these T100s, Evets. The most efficient T100s as possible to hopefully save stars for whatever you wish to do with those stars.
I can't wait for that to bite me whenever I try to do a T10 and try to cut it last minute.
Oh.
Do not.
A last minute T10.
I know. Don't worry, Noodle.
Well, what kind of if you don't mind me asking, like, is that like something that you're already planning on a T10 in the future, or perhaps you're waiting on that dream event from Bushiroad to give you that event that you want a T10?
I do have a T10 planned in the future. I made it public. I've made it obvious what it was, but I won't say it here.
Okay. Nice. Well, good luck on that. I imagine if there was eventually a Kasumi Mashiro event, like double 4-star, that would be like dream event for you, right?
Dream event right there.
And what about Noodle? What about you? What are your future plans for tiering?
I've got a few. One of them kind of got shot in the foot just because funding is not. It's a little bit rough right now. My star count is currently at 0 because of the current event.
Oh my!
I had to spark this event, so my star count is at the bottom.
Ooh.
So when I tier, I save up for like 6 to 8 months beforehand for like all the free stars I possibly can. So I have one event planned next year, and I'm very excited for it. I'm not gonna say what it is, but it's another top 10, and I'm hoping to break some personal records in it for like how long I can play it once. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, again, to both of you, best of luck. Hopefully, the plans will all go well. Don't fall into some bad habits of pushing things to the last minute here, and I think you guys will do great. Just a reminder that all special guests featured in the RePHIL studio can be found in the Unga Academy Discord server. Links in the description below. Join our great community who is very passionate about Bang Dream, tiering, and many other interests. And we have weekly community events as well as contests for people to complete through challenges. Of course, all Filler Nation members can access the podcast live when they're recording in this Discord server as well. So we hope to see you there. Speaking in lines of, Bushiroad and future things. Maybe let's try and make it as objective and not as like emotional as possible. But what are you guys' thoughts about what's going on with ENdoir right now and what's happening with Bushiroad?
That's a good question. So I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there about what caused some of the current delays that are happening with the events.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I want to make it really clear, the speed up is not what caused all of this mayhem. This would have happened whether we did speed up or not. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't really understand.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the bugs have been building up for a while, and the devs have slowly been falling behind. And so the speed up just caused this whole chaos thing to happen about a week earlier than it would have, because they would not have been ready for the big update for Bandori 3s anyways. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that being said, I still am not happy with the communication between Bushiroad and us. It's obviously the community manager is definitely trying their best and they're doing a good job of communicating what they can. But yeah, I don't know. I just wish that this didn't happen in the first place, if they like hired another developer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the bugs kind of creeping up and kind of leaving things behind, and then everything just kind of caves in, and we're now dealt with a big mess that I don't think any of us want to be in. Again, for those, I'm sure for those listening to the podcast are already well have the context of what's going on with Bushiroad and Bushiroad having to delay a few very key events for including Bandori 3 and Dore Mihel Happy Collab because of issues on their end that prevent them from getting an update on time. So again, I think it's important to keep people accountable, keep people responsible. But for me, at least, fingers are still crossed in terms of hopefully getting this done as soon as possible. Again, the way things have been handled, maybe not the greatest, but we'll kind of wait and see how things go. Evets, I don't know if you want to add to anything about this discussion as well.
Yeah. Well, about this whole thing easily could have been prevented, but yeah, Bushy Road International, I think, yeah, they've been slacking to say the least. We are several updates behind, and while the speed up may have had no, never mind. The speed up had no like point in this. Like, sure, like it pushed the issue ahead like a week, but that's it. That's all it did really. Like what Noodle said, speed up had nothing to do with this. It was all like internal issues with Bushy Road, which I really hope they are working on like resolving. They said that they're doing so, but we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah.
Though I'm pretty excited for the future, as we're jumping from 4.5 to 4.10. As of now, we haven't received the 4.10 update yet. I personally think it would be like another 3 or 4 weeks until we get that update. So it's gonna be a while, but fingers crossed. That's all I can say.
Yeah, all we have to do is wait and stay patient. Of course, all of the official Bang Dream Twitter, the resources are there. If they talk about, let's say, if there's an upcoming event, update coming up, or perhaps if we see promotional material for Bandori 3, we know that things will be coming up very soon. But again, as I said in a previous episode, at the very latest, this is going to be done by the end of the year. So we'll see how things go and how this will plan out. So yeah, we'll see how things go with that. And also, of course, people on the official Pubcord as well. The community manager is, I think, decently active there too. So he's been answering some of our questions as well, and making sure that we try to hopefully address any concerns. But of course, there is some communication gaps, right? Like there's some things they can't disclose, and it's definitely still a bit of a mess. But for time being, we'll see how things go with that. Okay. Maybe we can move away from Bushiroad for a second, and maybe talk about other things that we've been interested in. Maybe Steve, what other things other than Bang Dream are you quite interested in? And other than Bang Dream, what other things you've been doing?
Well, over the summer, oh, Noodle knows. A little series called Touhou. I've been a bit trapped in this hellhole, in this Touhou hellhole. Do I regret falling into it? No, a little bit, but yeah, I've been like on like I'm pretty much balancing between Bandori and Touhou, like as my interests at the moment. It's great.
Hit the hit rhythm game Touhou Danmaku Kagura, as we
yes.
say
On
all the
iOS
time.
and Android devices.
Noodle, you don't even play the game anymore, so
Hey! I did
Still-
great advertising for that game.
you put your mark and then you just left. Everyone's like, well,
that's all he needs. But you didn't do anything, leaves.
Just casually leave. But yeah, if you guys don't know, Touhou Danmaku Kagura is also another rhythm game. There's only a Japanese version right now. There's no like international worldwide server, so you have to know a little bit of the Nihongo to play it. But again, there has been a community. I know Evets has been a pretty big figurehead of the community in terms of having the Discord server, the Twitter, the unofficial Twitter that translates, right, with this team there. And yeah, it's pretty interesting how that game has evolved. Do you see any like sort of parallels between like Bang Dream and Touhou Dankagu, and maybe even parallels between the communities as well?
The community is much different. I'll say that much. Probably because Danmaku is like pales in comparison compared to a Bandori here even here in the West. It pretty much pales like in comparison. Not many people know about this game to begin with. So the community, the people that do know it, they're really chill, and they know, I think, way too much about Touhou. I remember Noodle and I joined the server, and we were chilling the VC the night of the release. We had no idea what anyone was saying.
That was absurd, dude. That was ridiculous.
That's crazy. Like I personally knew Touhou like quite a while ago, and that was like back when I was in high school. But that was like 10 years ago. So like I'm not really like caught up with a lot of like the lore and like the new characters. I imagine I'd probably feel that same shock if I was in your shoes right at that time as well. So yeah, that's pretty interesting there. I know Noodle, you also are pretty into, like, at least decently into Touhou, and I think one of the games you play is, what was it, the 12.3 Hisoku Tensoku, or what is that called?
Oh, I've played Touhou 12.3 before. That's the fighting game. But
yeah.
Steve, I honestly can't remember. Did we play the bullet hell games before we played Danmaku Kagura or after?
Let's see.
I seriously can't remember which came first.
I think we played like 1 or 2 bullet hells. I think 7 or 6.
Yeah,
before.
definitely 6 and 7.
Yeah, and we played those before Danmaku Kagura came out. As for, I don't know about you, Noodle, but I played like every mainline Touhou game since then.
Yeah, I've tried out every Touhou game since then. I still think I like 7 the most, just between the music and the gameplay. Very fun. So yeah, Touhou isn't just a rhythm game; it's also a like a bullet hell shooter where you're dodging a bunch of bullets on the screen.
Yeah.
It's got really good music.
Oh yeah, I love Touhou's music. You think 7's your favorite? I personally think 10. Like 10 is probably
10
my
is
favorite
really
one.
good too. Yeah.
I don't really play too much of the game, and for those who are unfamiliar, Touhou, like as a franchise, it all is based on the bullet hell game, and that is sort of like its core foundation. And there really isn't a lot of lore for the franchise, but what really fascinates me about the fandom is that they create so much out of what little they get in actual canon. Like they're able to build lore out of these characters that didn't really get a lot of like too much additional background or story, and really like go really ham on building the characters, having other games like rhythm games, fighting games. Like I'm pretty sure there's like RPG. There's like literally everything, and of course the music soundtracks as well. Like all the remixes of the Touhou songs, right? The original BGMs are really catchy, and people remix them, and those remixes, like Bad Apple, get into rhythm games like Bang Dream and Touhou Danmaku Kagura. So it's really a fascinating fandom for sure.
Yeah. Just kind of going back to what Evans was saying about the game's release. We kind of had no idea what to expect, so the two of us were sitting in a voice call waiting for the game to release, which ended up being we expected it to release at 6 a.m. my time, 3 a.m. his time, but it ended up getting delayed another 2 hours. So it was like the crack of dawn when the game released. And then I think the two of us ended up staying up another 12 hours just messing around with the game.
I'm pretty sure I think when I went to bed it was like either 8 or 9 a.m. after playing the game for 4 or 5 hours straight.
Crazy.
It was real Bang Dream tearing hours, but for Touhou Danmaku Kagura.
When it's just like there hasn't been an event in, or it's just like free live over and over again.
It's free live over and over, yeah. And some events don't even have tearing in it, like so.
I do want to talk about the first event real quick if we have a minute.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
The first event in that game was hilarious. Me and Steve wanted to do top 1000 on the first event, and we're like, okay, this probably won't be that bad. The game is very free to play friendly with tiering. You can't buy boosts, you just kind of have to play flameless. But that also meant that a lot of people were tiering. So me and him probably played about 16 hours on the first day of the event, and we were just on the cutoff for a top 1000.
Oh man.
And then as the days continued, I think it ended up averaging 20 hours a day for the cutoff, and I gave up halfway through because I was like, this is awful. I do not want to do this for a top 1000 title.
I can't imagine T100 or even higher.
It's gross.
Yeah. Imagine playing a game, playing T10 hours, only to add a extra few zeros on that title.
But the game's calmed down since then. Now the events are much more chill in order to get top 1000.
Much more chill, yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they're coming up on their 10th event, right? They're coming off on their 10th event soon. I believe they're wrapping up their 9th event in like a day or two, and that's been very chill as well. For sure. Yeah, so again, I always want to get like a bit of perspective, and in the future I'll also be inviting guests and who will share the perspective of other games as well, because it's really interesting to see some trying to find some parallels between different communities and different games as well. That's not just Bang Dream. So rhythm games definitely expand quite a bit beyond just one game. So it's definitely quite interesting there. Last question about Touhou before we move on to the final few questions. Favorite Touhou character? Go. Noodle?
I like Suwaku because Frog Hat. And the song's really good too. Native Faith.
Native Faith is so good. I love it.
Absolute banger.
Actually a banger, yeah. And Evets?
I'm a basic person. Raymu and Marissa.
Okay, well, fine. The mascots.
Fan, Raymu fan.
Yeah, just the mascots, right? The mascots of the franchises. Understandable.
It's always the mascots, man. I don't know why.
They get the most spotlight, and I guess you like characters with the spotlight.
I do got to give a quick shout out to Tenshi though. Tenshi Gaming.
Tenshi Gaming.
Oh yeah.
Shout out Rainbow.
Yeah, shout out to Rainbow. Again, I didn't mention this earlier, but my favorite Touhou probably is Touhou 8. I think I just like the set of characters there. I didn't really.
Nice.
I'm really bad at the game, so like I played that, which was probably considered to be like the easiest of them all, and I still struggled.
Yeah.
But yeah, Touhou 8. I like the characters and lore the most, and I think my favorite. I think you probably already know my favorite character is Kane. So. Let's move on to one. Let's move on actually to some of the questions we got asked by the community. So we have a few questions, and I guess actually they're all to you, Evets. So, well, the first question we have is actually how are you able to spend so much time on to spend so much time in Pubcord? Like, what motivates you to be able to be in there for a while and make sure that you do your moderating duties as doodly as possible?
Well, good question. Honestly, if I had to guess, like, since I personally don't know myself, I mean, I'm looking at Pubcord right now, but it is just like just seeing so many people there. Like like some people might find the amount of people there like intimidating, but I personally find it like really interesting and really like a fresh breath of air. Like every time you look into a different channel, there's usually like a different conversation going, like something going on in there that's completely different from when you last looked like 5 minutes ago. If and yeah, it's just like really refreshing to get to interact with so many different parts of the community in there, and I think that's what like drives me to keep checking back there, making sure everyone's behaving, and just chatting with the community that's there at the time and chilling with them pretty much.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's a big responsibility as well to be a mod. So yeah, you definitely people are chosen to be mods because they do have a bit of a the drive to be able to support the community and be able to be there and make sure that everything's orderly and tidily. And I could probably attest to there might be some issues here and there with very specific or unique people depends sometimes, and some random people come in and they're causing problems. But overall, like the Bangju community, I think so overall is like not. I wouldn't say there's as many like troublemakers as I've seen in other communities. So I think it's also a testament to the mods' jobs as well. So yeah, and also even like obviously now your cousin doesn't play the game anymore, but do you flex that mod status to that cousin? Be like, you look at what you've done.
I think I mentioned it to her once. She didn't acknowledge it. I'm like, all right,
Okay,
fair enough.
Well, yeah, she probably just fully given up on the game, but you're still going strong. So
Wait, Evets, have you ever flexed your mod status to that person in your school that plays Bang Dream?
Oh my god, I don't think they. I don't think. Hold on, I don't think they know the server exists yet. So
oh, well, they could be
So,
listening to it right to this podcast right now. You never know.
oh, you never know.
It might be a secret fan of the RePHIL studio. Well, there's actually I wanted to actually spare a bit of time just before we end off the studio and your time here. Noodle, we actually prior to this episode, we had a very interesting discussion about various topics of tier lists, and it's particularly about food. So,
Yeah.
so you mentioned Thanksgiving earlier. That's kind of when you did your ReZero T10, and also Thanksgiving is coming up in America very soon this month. So I think it's a very appropriate time to possibly discuss Thanksgiving food tier list. And Evets, of course, you can feel free to hop in at any point and put your opinions there. But maybe, why don't we do that? Why don't we do a quick discussion on Thanksgiving food and tiering them?
Yeah,
I don't know where to
totally.
start, but maybe I'll leave the expertise to you, maybe to start things off.
Yeah, so with all of the tier lists I make with a group of friends, so Steve's actually helped make all those tier lists too, for the most part.
Okay,
But I don't know. I guess to start off, you just got to go with turkey, right? So that's like
right?
the main thing. I
The
feel like
classic.
that has to be S tier, right? I don't know where else I'd put turkey other than at the top of the tier list for
No
Thanksgiving.
issues
That's
here.
like what?
No issues here. Like with that position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What
Just
about other
kind of
birds though? What about other birds? Would other
like a
birds like?
ham. I guess a
Yeah.
ham's not a bird. A ham is a pig. But
Ooh,
my family actually does both ham and turkey for Thanksgiving.
Mm.
So I'm probably more of a ham guy, honestly. I put ham at double S tier. Dare I say
Ooh.
it? Dare I say it?
Yeah. 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 Steve, do you agree with that? Are you a turkey person in your family?
let's Hmm. Turkey. We don't really have turkey all that often at my family. But I'd say it belongs in S tier. Ham. I want to know. I haven't tried it yet. So
What?
What?
they have
What
not.
in the
They have not made
ham?
ham. Look, they have not made me ham. It's always turkey. So I don't
Bro,
know what
what
to
do you
tell
eat
you.
for Christmas?
What do you mean Christmas? We just make like they just make
This guy.
the usual. What do you mean, this guy?
Guy.
Well, I'm gonna kind of break a little bit of the trend here, but in my family, we don't really eat turkey that much. We're definitely more of like a chicken family. So we
For
actually kind of usually
Thanksgiving?
avoid chicken, or sorry, avoid turkey, which is
Wait, for Thanksgiving you eat chicken?
why not? Yeah.
What?
And
Hey,
also,
I don't see issue with that, Noodle.
Oh my gosh.
also in Canada, Thanksgiving is a whole month and a half early.
Oh,
So
yeah, you're right. I forgot
Okay,
you're
yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah, there you go, Noodle. There's reasoning.
maybe we're just built different. But what about other things about the Thanksgiving? I'm thinking about other stuff. Like I'm thinking about gravy. I'm thinking about the cranberry sauce. Like what how does that go with the turkey?
I've never had cranberry
Oh,
sauce
really?
before. Cranberry juice is pretty good. It's also really healthy. Did you know it's like the healthiest juice?
Hey.
Oh, I think you put quite a bit of sugar in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you take the sugar out and then it's like really healthy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Gravy is great. I mean, who doesn't like gravy,
Who doesn't
I
like
mean,
gravy?
you guys have poutine in Canada. You know gravy's good.
Gravy's great. Gravy's great.
Yeah. I don't know. Please tell me you've had mashed potatoes before.
I'm pretty sure I've definitely had mashed potatoes before.
Steve?
Yes, I have. Don't
Oh,
worry.
okay, you've had mashed potatoes. Good, just making sure.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
mashed potatoes and gravy is a classic.
It's a pretty good combination. There's other things that I see on this list here. Like this I don't know. Like let's get a little bit more controversial here. What about stuff like Brussels sprouts?
Oh, F tier, gross.
Nah, down there. Get down there.
Brussels sprouts
Let's just go through this list. So,
yeah. We can go through this list, and we'll to briefly talk about it, and probably at the end we'll just come up with a list, and I'll post it on the at the end of the podcast, and we'll share it with the people. So
yeah, the next one I see here is pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is pretty good.
Pumpkin is
I,
great.
I wouldn't say it's better than apple pie, but pumpkin pie is definitely very solid.
Yeah, I agree. Both of them are pretty solid there.
I put apple pie up in the top tier, and I put pumpkin pie 1 tier below. This next one's gonna be really controversial though. Biscuits?
Ooh.
Not a biscuit guy. They're too dry. They are too
Come
dry
on.
for me.
That's why you dip biscuits in something else,
I mean, I'm looking at other things like the biscuits. There's like cornbread though, and dinner rolls. Dinner rolls, I think, are a little bit better.
We're more of a dinner roll type family.
Yeah, that's fair. Dinner rolls are much better.
Maybe dinner rolls okay, and biscuits are like maybe. Cornbread's like maybe.
I don't know what creamed corn is. Is
Creamed
corn but creamy?
I don't know about creamed corn. I'll stick to regular corn. Thank you.
Yeah, regular corn though is great. I'm just gonna say that. I think regular corn is pretty great. Squash.
One thing I noticed on here is that there is no mostaccioli, which I am very sad about.
What is that?
Mostaccioli is a type of pasta. It's like it's penne pasta with a meat sauce. And it's something my family makes every year for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And yeah, that's like a classic in my family.
Well, we'll put that as honorary top tier.
Yeah.
For you. We'll edit that in.
Here I am. I'm making my. I just finished making my list.
Okay. Why don't you just share? Why don't you share the screenshot here, and then we'll just post that on there, and we'll put it on the podcast, and we'll be like, that's our list.
This is my list.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting.
Hold on, Noodle.
I don't know.
Hold on.
Yeah, mac and cheese is gross.
What the what? All right, hold on there. Wait, just a second. Mac and cheese is great. I don't know what you're on.
Absolute F tier.
What the heck? What is this?
well,
Mac and cheese belongs up.
Well,
way up
why
there.
don't you make a list real quick and then we'll share that over. We'll compare. At least Evets, I have a question for you when it comes to mac and cheese. Do you put ketchup in it?
No, what?
Good,
No.
good,
No
good.
one
Because people
does that,
do that.
Phil.
No, people
No, they
do that.
don't.
I've seen people do that, and I
Okay,
get really mad.
Maybe in Canada, whatever that is.
No, that's
But
Canada
here in
talk
America,
again.
The Canadians.
here in America, that doesn't happen.
Maybe.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
goodness.
I don't know. I think this list is overall like okay. Like
Okay, huh?
well, like no, I think it's fine. Like, what was that thing there? Like, I would probably put mac and cheese maybe a little bit higher, but I think everything else is like not bad. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that list.
Mm.
Yeah, scalloped potatoes is pretty interesting. It's a lot of
Yeah,
work, a lot more work
I'm not
to do
really
that.
sure what scallop potatoes are.
They're basically like thinned potato slices, and they're kind of like stacked together and baked. And they're usually seasoned with like various like things like spicy like powder stuff. Yeah.
Okay. That
And
makes
cheese
sense.
and stuff. It's not bad. It's not bad. I probably prefer it over. Do I prefer it over mash? No, saying that I'm not sure. It's a little interesting there.
Hey, what the heck? Come on, Noodle.
Stupid.
I had to make a quick adjustment to my list, but I think this one's a little more accurate.
I don't know about that.
Okay,
maybe.
well, let's not. Okay, well, here we go. I think generally we don't really like cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese up there. Okay, you don't like vegetables that much, Evets. I see you there, I guess.
The freaking
What
child.
do you mean? He has corn and okay.
Oh, corn's fine. Yeah, true. Corn.
Hey, there you go.
But like
There's
roasted vegetables is I don't know. I think it's pretty good. Anyway, let's not derail the conversation anymore any further. This will basically conclude today's episode of the RePHIL studio, and we definitely talked about various topics of Bang Dream and most definitely not Bang Dream related stuff. But is there anything else that you two would like to share, or any last words that you'd like to say before we end off today?
Yeah, I have an announcement actually that
Oh,
I'd like
yeah?
to make on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Phil, have you ever heard of a game called Princess Connect Redive?
Oh no!
God freaking dang it! This is a new Don Conway. I swear to God.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard, play Prycon. It's a very fun game available on both iOS and Android for free. It's got a lot of very lovable characters and some funny stories. And engaging combat.
I'm pretty sure I forgot to log in yesterday. So
This guy.
And then
wait, I don't think I logged in today yet. Hold on.
You put
I'll
that
do that
on the
later.
Google search or a search engine on internet, and they're like, "Do you mean Cookie Run Kingdom?"
God,
This might be a controversial opinion. Probably not for anyone over the age of 10, but Prycon is like a much better Cookie Run Kingdom.
Fair. Well, anything else? Evets, you want to say anything as well?
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Don Kagu's pretty neat. Lost Words pretty neat. Bandori Ian, please get your act together. And God, and JPdori, keep going. I guess.
Keep going. Keep.
Please don't end.
Please don't end. Yeah, pretty much.
ENdori trips and falls so JPdori could fly. Like
Yeah.
That's more like the CN server.
True. But honestly, you two, it was a great pleasure having both of you in the studio. And again, for those who've listened, hopefully you had a very impactful learning experience of various topics, both Bandori and not. from our special guests. And all our special guests are featured in the Unga Academy Discord server as well, so feel free to join. Links in the description below. And also, you can ask any questions to our guests before the podcast recording starts, so you'll be able to get any of your burning questions asked and answered by our guests. But with that, everyone, the RePHIL studio for today is complete. Our set is complete, and we hope to see you all with your cans ready and RePHIL for the next set and our next episode in the near future. But until then, thank you everyone for listening, and take care. Bye-bye, everyone.